Oh, today is DeepSeek Day. DeepSeek sunk some of the stocks in the market today, and it certainly did not help the Nasdaq, which fell 612 points or 3.07%, with 17% above the 50-day average volume. There you can see, since we made that high of 20,204 on December 16th, Jerome Powell, had that hawkish interest rate cut on the 18th. That's this day here where it just fell, and it's just really been choppy ever since. If you take a look, we have a couple days rally up and then sell off, a couple days rally up, then sell off. This time we had a follow through day and then, had a couple of solid sessions, got up here above 20,000 again, and just today just fell out on the DeepSeek news, which really isn't new. DeepSeek's been around. It's just, today was the day where it came out that, that not as much power is going to be needed or GPUs or whatever for the AI trade. So this is Wall Street, game kind of being played with investors being in love with the AI trade and getting overly excited and just on one side of the boat. They're all too long, and then you get some margin calls and you got to sell stock, and there might be some more margin calls going on because, I didn't see any bounces from these dips today. The dips were not bought. So beware going forward that there could be more selling ahead. So I have to be cautious with the Nasdaq now, slicing the 10, slicing the 21, slicing the 50, closing 0.8% below its 50 simple moving average. It's adios, muchachos, for this kid. The SPY fared a little better, only down 1.59%, closed just a tick above its 50, 0.3%. So doing better than the NASDAQ because, it's the NASDAQ stocks that are the tech stocks that are getting hit. And I'll get to that in a minute. Heck, I guess I'll go through my Batman stocks. If you own these stocks like Broadcom, you buy this thing right, you sit tight. It's like the Atlanta Falcons. You got a three touchdown lead in the second half, and you just piss it away to Tom Brady, like all your gains down the drain. So that's what I felt like the Atlanta Falcons today, just giving up my gains. So you buy right, you sit tight, and then all of a sudden it just evaporates, essentially overnight, with this story coming. So don't beat yourself up. Nobody could see this stuff coming. Apple is, whenever the market gets shaky and sells off, this is like it acts like a safe haven, a defensive play, and a lot of defensive names did okay today. And so Apple not with a great AI component here, not getting hammered today. In fact, it was up 3%, but they're going to report on the 30th. So they're all going to report in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to have to hear what they have to say. And Tesla is another one that is heavily into AI. They report Wednesday. This one just pulled back to its 50 today. So this one looks okay. Okay. And that's about it. 5 days in a row of just selling off here ahead of their earnings report. Meta, the thing that pisses me off about Meta, excuse my French, these guys, they just reported on Friday how they're going to spend 80 to 85 billion in CapEx, and they're going to build, data centers the size of Manhattan, which is good for stocks like Vertiv and, the power plays. And then, now the next day it's that story's gone away. I mean, it just really is frustrating for people who, don't understand the game of, Wall Street, these silly games that are being played. Anyway, this is Meta showing strength today. Obviously, any stock that's up going to be showing strength. It's got the blue dot here, but they report on Wednesday, so we'll just have to wait and see what they have to say. Microsoft was down a little bit today. You'd think, Microsoft would be thought of as a safe haven, much like Apple, but nope. They're going to report here on Wednesday, so we're just going to have to wait and see what they have to say. Down 2%, back down to the 200. I guess you could say it found support there. I mean, you could say this is kind of a bounce. Dropped at the open. Some buyers came in, profit taking, and then buying into the close. So, not a horrible day for Microsoft, but not great either. Amazon, eh. It was up on the session. You call it flat, pull back at the 21, found support. Once again, if you take a look at the 5 minute here, opportunity at the open, right? I mean, it was bought up all day. So Amazon fared well in comparison to some of these other ones that just got absolutely obliterated, which I'll show you in a minute. And this is Alphabet, down 4%, which is good, compared to a lot of others. It sliced its 21 here with massive volume. So you just got to be aware this has a big AI component. They don't report till the 4th. Nvidia, this is the one that got most hedge fund managers or most fund managers in general own this thing. Pension funds, you name it. Um, yeah, down 17, 18% today. Down below its 200. It lost what, over 600 billion in market cap. Massive volume. Hasn't seen a break like this in a while. I've been talking about Nvidia though. It's just like dead money. I mean, it was 140 last June, and it closed Friday at 142, so it's gone nowhere in 7 months, and now today falls 18%, like I said, 600 billion in market cap. So it's going to be hard to get that back. And I know things happen a lot faster in the market now, but for it to gain that back, it's going to take some time. And they all got hit here. AMD, I could do this all day. MRVL, I showed you Broadcom. They just got hammered. The chip stocks. A Lab, this one I pointed out last week how it slices 50, and then people got excited because it had that one day where it undercut the 50, then rallied up. But then what I guess it was Friday, it got rejected at its moving average, and we open up today. Now it's down, what, 20 something percent. So there were warning signs there. And this one's probably just going to form a base. It's got a gap to fill here at 72.59. How close did it come today? Yeah, it's getting close. So probably fill a gap, form a base. It's just very early in its trading. If you just look at the history, though, of this stock, right? Just look at how tight it traded through its IPO, rallied up, gapped higher, been pulling back, finding support, finding support, finding support the whole time, right? Until it didn't hit that 147, then slice support, rejected a moving average, slice support, and now, probably just needs to form a base, but never in its history has it ever done something like this. This is way out of character. I call it an anomaly, call it out of character, call it whatever you want, but you're down 30% in a day on this thing. So maybe some, bargain hunters will come in, if whatever you want to call them, tomorrow or the next day and bid this thing up a little bit, but below the moving average is pretty tough for me to buy that thing. All right. More hardware. The hardware was being sold. Some of the software is being bought. Micron down 11, Dell, yeah, down. And the networkers too, Arista Network. Wow, Slice it's 50, man, down 22%. Sienna, I mean, these guys, they just reported and they had a good move higher. Now below the 50, I mean, down 21%, it's just hard to gauge for that. They just reported, it's like, gosh, I'm out of the woods. They just reported not so fast. Anyway, that's just, I don't know. It's very frustrating. There's no way to defend for this. This is GEV. GE Vernova. This is one that I own, and I broke my cardinal rule and allowing a gain to turn into a loss, but that's the way it goes. Just look at the way this thing has traded over time. It IPO'd last March. Tight trading, got in a base. Ripped higher, which is a hell of a move here. Consolidated again. This is all very tight trading. Broke out of this base after it pulled back. This is textbook action. Rallied up to a new high last Thursday. It reported earnings on Wednesday and had a pretty decent response to earnings, or maybe it was Tuesday. I don't know. They reported earnings last week, and they guided at 37 billion, in revenues, and that's not going to change. Nothing changed here. It's just it's down 21.5%. That's what changed. Probably some margin calls, and fund managers have to, force to sell. Like I said, they got too loaded onto the AI boat, got overzealous onto one side. Now it's, everybody into the pool, so you're all wet. But if you're just buying here at 357, you're buying this buy point, you're watching it appreciate, you're watching it closely day after day. This thing's doing great, right? You're doing fantastic. You got good, this is what, but even if you had a stop loss, right? Let's say you're going to have a stop loss here at, let's say the low on Friday was 416. Well, you open up today, hello. I mean, you know, what was the opening today here on GEV? Yeah, look at this first bar. I mean, 340, 325 was the low. So you're getting stopped out at 325. It's a losing trade regardless, 340 to 325. I mean, if you bought there at the 357, it's a losing trade. So, if that's you, like it is me, I mean, nothing you can do about it. You can't cry about it. That's the way it goes. The cavalry is not coming here to support you here. At least I didn't see anything today that looked like, there's going to be some dip buyers here. This thing just sold off all day. Where are the dip buyers? I don't see them. It looks to me like it wants to go lower. So, like I said, I wouldn't be a hero here and jump in and try to buy this thing here at 330 because it could easily go down to 300 or below, in a heartbeat. We just saw that. This is abnormal. This is not a normal move. And you can see the way it's traded, its history. And so when you get something like that, that makes me much more cautious. Same with VST. You can see the tight trading here, the big base, the moves higher, another nice cup shaped pattern moving higher. And then, this is actually what I thought it was going to do when it had that fire a couple of weeks ago, but it just traded higher, right? It came down to its 10, found support, moved higher, had a great week last week. I believe it was up like 11% last week. Yeah, I mean almost 12% last week. And then this is where we talk about this, the weekend over the weekend risk that I talk about. Sometimes you don't want to take the risk, and the Friday afternoon is when you see the institutions, they kind of show their hand if they're pulling back on a Friday afternoon, if they're buying into the close. But this is a rare occurrence, so has not happened. This is like I believe your leading stock from the 2024 in the S&P 500, and it was the biggest loser today. So yeah, I lost on both those two stocks. I couldn't decide which one to buy, so I bought both, and I lost on both of them. Loser. I'm a loser. But that's the way it goes. I mean, in the market, you can't cry about it. You just sell, slices it's 50 with volume, you sell, you get out and you look around. And you don't have to jump right back in. You want to dust yourself off, take some inventory, and look around. And I'm going to get there in a minute, but I have to go through some of these other ones. CEG, they had the big government contract recently. They had the contract with Microsoft, 3 Mile Island, and didn't matter. This thing's down 21%, yeah, if you bought there at 288, you're underwater, just really, excuse my French, but it just flat out sucks, And this is why retail people get really upset with the stock market. I mean, there's just, and it wasn't just, the hardware, and it wasn't just the energy. I mean, the nuclear names, there was just a lot, the fiber optics, the networkers, there was a lot of them that got sunk by deep sunk. I mean, DeepSeek, which pretty much sunk everything. OKLO, like I said, the nuclear trades, SMR, NNE, all these ones that have been, up a lot just got slaughtered today, 25%. So, and then the builders, the construction names, Power, which is set up there in a nice base. I was getting ready to put this one on, the ready list. I don't think I did though. I was waiting for it to come down to its 10, and well, it sure did come down to its 10, didn't it? Wow, closed 11.7% below its 50. My goodness, that is just frightening. Sterling infrastructure down 24%. Another nice cup with handle. This one was straight up off the bottom. I've been talking about this one in, forming a handle here, and it looked like it was going to, find support at the 10, and then adios, muchachos. So, yeah, you got to stay away. When you see big volume bars like that, down 24%, you just, stay away. So, anyway, like I said, I could do this all day long, but I'm not going to because it's just depressing, and I want to keep things positive. So, what did happen though is the hardware sold off, but some of the software, there's a need for software, right? So the software names bounced today, a lot of them, not all of them. But this is HubSpot traded down to its 50, found support again. It's been doing that here as it finds support. and then find support, and then find support. Now here today, I found support again. Earnings aren't till February 12th. But yeah, this is a nice little consolidation pattern, flat base. Not bad. Let's take a look at today's action. We're right at the open, right? Traded down to the 50 and boom, like a trampoline, man. That thing bounced off the trampoline nicely. A 4% move for HubSpot today. Now, ServiceNow is another one. I think they report this week. Yeah, Wednesday. A lot of earnings reports this week. And Jerome Powell's going to make a decision on interest rates. So maybe he'll be a little less hawkish this time, seeing what's going on here as the market's really wobbling. Rubric, although his mandate is not the market, it's the economy and inflation. This is a rubric, but people when the market goes wobbly, they're not as confident in spending. So anyway, I don't want to go off on that tangent. This is rubric. Just pull back to its 21 and found support. Not a bad day today for rubric. There you can see at the open, their buyers came in, but kind of sold off into the close. Still, like I said, not a bad day, down 2.5% when everything else is pretty much falling apart. AZPN, another software name, just is gapping out of a base higher. So that's a rare bird on a day like today, up 3%. Just going around the horn here. Team, I know they report this week, the 30th, which is Thursday, in this nice cup-shaped pattern here. So definitely one to watch. Don't give up. Just because you got slapped around today, you got knocked down, you got to get back up. As Vince Lombardi says, you're going to get knocked down a lot, okay, in this market. That's going to humble you. So, yeah, that's the way it goes. Twilio, very impressive move on Friday after they raised guidance, and today up 2%. That is a move not to be ignored, Dan. You could see this, if I go to the weekly, it's just got this like high tide flag type of pattern in spirit, right? Where you got this big move and then it flags out, for weeks and weeks, probably 5 or 6 weeks, and 5 weeks there. And then last week blasted up and then added on today 2%. What was this move last week? Up to 141. It was 21%. Okay, very nice. So Twilio is definitely one that you want to put on your watch list and just kind of wait for the moving averages to catch up. Okay. All right. So Spotify is one that I did put on my ready list this week. I just like the way it's setting up. Pulled back to its 10 today, found support. I mean, up $3 on a day like today. If you're cautious, I understand it. I'm switching my market conditions to red because the Nasdaq's below the 50. So, you got to buy smaller and you got to trade quicker in this type of environment. But the move in Spotify, this little base here, this looks pretty good here, 6 weeks, cup-shaped pattern. Earnings are next week, the 4th. So yeah, just know your earnings dates this time of year. Reddit, I was encouraged with Reddit's activity today, down less than 1%. Yeah, pull back to the 21 at the open, shakes everybody out there at the open, shake, shake, shake. And then, yeah, some buyers came in, turned out roughly flat on this session. Not bad for Reddit. And then DoorDash is another one. I think I put this one on my Reddit list. I like this little, first of all, I like the weekly chart. I might be in love with the weekly chart. I better watch myself and be intellectually honest here. But yeah, it's got a flat base pattern here. Pull back a little bit. This one looks good to me. This morning, once again, the little shake, shake, shake your booty action. And then buyers came in, it just closed up flat, 0.5%. So that's showing relative strength on a day when the Nasdaq is down more than 3%. All right, some other I want to get to some non-tech names that just acted well. This is AutoZone in the base here. I don't have this one on the ready list, but I got to admit it's acting well. And Fresh Pet, I do buy Fresh Pet for my dog, and they actually have the best advertisements going on TV when they make fun of the guy putting his dog food, his Fresh Pet, in the refrigerator. Very good, very clever. But anyway, once again, I don't think I put this one on the ready list, but definitely ready and belongs on the ready list. COOP, COOP. Yeah, very nice. This is a Chinese stock, QFIN, Chinese financial stock. If you don't like, if you don't have enough risk on your plate, here's some more risk you can take, up 2.5% today. Up above that 40.31 buy point. All you can do is buy properly, folks. I mean, you just cannot help what happened today. TGTX, this is one that I, own and bought more today. I don't care of what Mr. Market has to say. This is breaking above a downtrend line here nicely. It's also, higher lows, as we can see here, making past, recapturing its 50, breaking above its downtrend line. Yeah, up 2.1% today on a day like today. Heck, I'll take that all day long. They're going to report earnings pretty soon. This is not accurate because the last time they reported earnings was November 1st. So I'm figuring about February 1st. They'll probably announce it Friday after the bell and then report earnings Monday before the open. That's kind of the way this company does it. But yeah, I like that setup right there. Big sell off. If you look at the weekly, kind of a wedge pattern here, a bull wedge. The sellers are getting kind of exhausted here. They're drying up, right? And if you look at TGTX, every big week that it's had in the last what year, it's a blue volume bar, and it sells off on lighter volume. And these guys have the best in show MS drug, taking market share. They're not getting a lot of converts, from Vociferous and Kemstimpa, but I think Vociferous does about 8 billion in sales per year, and TG's goal is to overtake their throne, and they're guiding to about 550 million this year, next year more, and by 2028 projected to be like a billion in profit. So if you're a longer term holder, if all goes well, this stock should be a blockbuster drug and it should be a killer stock. But that's long term, and a lot of us aren't long term these days. We just want to take the money and run, as Steve Miller would say. This is AKRO Therapeutics, up 100% on trial news. I think it was a phase 2 trial. So congrats to the longs there. You got to feed the ducks where the ducks are quacking there. This is, or take the cookie, as our friend Malibu will say. Take the cookie with the Cookie Monsters doling out cookies. Yeah, take a schnitzel out of there. This is a Supernus Pharmaceuticals, just pointing it out, making a high today up near a buy point there. So, not all is lost here in the market. Okay, some stocks that I put on the ready list. This is On Holdings, still in a base, still looks good. I think I had it at a lower buy point in prior weeks, but I moved it to the standard buy point. I guess, 60-12 is fine. It just pulled back to the 10 today. Still looks good to me. Now, Deckers is going to report this week, and On Holdings is going to trade in concert with Deckers, be it good or be it bad. They're going to trade the same way. Same with Crocs and Skechers. They're going to follow Deckers this week. So they're going to report on Thursday after the markets close. A couple of other retail names I did put on the ready list. This is Garmin trading tight within a base near a moving average. I like that a lot. Shark Ninja, another one I like a lot. Pulled back to its 10 today. It's consolidated since that sell-off. I know some people don't like this sell-off, and that's pretty scary. If we go from what was it, 112 to 85. Yeah, that's a pretty brutal, that's an earnings sell-off. So the last time it reported earnings, it really sold off hard. But it's been consolidating for 13 weeks, so it should be ready to report earnings again. Yeah, February 13th. But pulled back to the 10 today. That's not bad action here, especially in this tape. Is up on this. Well, it sold off at the open like everything else, and then buyers came in. It closed up higher. So Shark Ninja looks pretty good. I'm going to leave that one on our ready list. And then Walmart, this is part of the Dow Jones, which was, outperformed today, which is not saying much, but is up nearly 3%. So that earns it the blue dot special. So anyway, a couple of other names, just some defensive names. I don't want to get, all into the defensive stuff. Waste management, though, it's obviously not AI. They're going to pick up your garbage once a week. You're going to write them a check once a month, and life goes on. So very defensive, pays a dividend, and so BTI's the widow stock breaking out of a cup with handle pattern here. That's nice. This is a cup with handle, and then a flat base. You can call it elongated handle or just a base on base pattern. But hey, breaking out 5% on a day like today, I think we'll take it. And then AWK, I don't talk about this one much, but it's one that I do like. A water company. There's only so much water in the world. Water's been in the news a lot lately. Up 7% today. And if you just take a look at the weekly, or I'll even go to the monthly, I mean, just over time. And the other one is AWR. This is kind of a California water play. Just over time, these things have been monsters. And they pay a dividend. So it's just kind of a defensive name you're going to put in your, yeah, there's your Palisades fire right there in Malibu. So, sorry to bring that up. Some friends have been hammered by that event. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm trying to keep my videos shorter. At mcstockcharts.com, we never give up, except for in the honor of the great Steve Jobs. I have a couple of things. Nucor reported tonight after the bell, up 1.5%. AT&T reported this morning. Had a nice move today, 6-something%. Yes, sir, breaking out of a base. AT&T, you go. Talk about defense. That's a defensive name. And then some more reports in the morning. I'll have information in the morning on these. Boeing, General Motors is going to report in the morning. Lockheed Martin's going to report. Yeah, okay. And then RTX, the old Raytheon. That one looks good. Nice. So the defensive names look pretty good. RCL, Royal Caribbean reports tomorrow morning. Looking forward to that and just see what they have to say about life going forward. I don't think anybody's going to cancel their trips because of deep sunk. Uh, SYF financial name looks pretty good. They report in the morning. CVLT reports in the morning. This is a software name, so interested to see what they have to say. And then KMB, talk about defense. This is your, paper towel type play, paper products. Ugh, that chart looks ugly. But anyway, I'll have more in the morning on this. Hang in there. Don't get your dauber down. Keep the faith. Stay positive. It was one day. It was a bad day. If it makes you feel any better, I lost money too. That's the way it goes. It just, for me, it makes me dig in harder and want to, try harder to, get back and beat the market. I'm not going to be foolish though and just buy, Nvidia just because it's down 18%. I'm not going to do that, although somebody is after hours. I'm going to be more prudent. I'm going to look around, look at some stock setup and basis because you still have to stick to your system, stick to what works, stick to your process. Don't go crazy. Don't do something you wouldn't normally do because you had like I said, an abnormal day in the market. I mean, when you see GEV like that, you want to look at abnormal, that's abnormal. Never done it in its history. And yeah, that's a bad break. And so you got to be more cautious and look around. And I'll have some on the ready list tomorrow. And I like the looks of, I showed you Reddit and DoorDash, that are hanging in there, growth stocks that, still look pretty good to me, and Shark Ninja. So hang in there. Garmin, another one that I like. So yeah, keep the faith and never give up. It's only Monday.